Oh, VonAsten. VonAsten, he's down on his luck. Can he be the comeback king, or is he just a 3-0 schmuck? He's now got to dig deep within his soul, within his every fabric of his being to hyperbolize the situation. It's pretty much my job right now. He's got to win this next game of Company Heroes, and then 2 following games of Company Heroes. But there's a bit of a problem, because in the south is the Soviet behemoth. He's playing as the United States, actually, in this case, but he's from Russia. His name is Noggano, and he's a heavyweight titan of this title. Noggano looks unbeatable today, and we're now going to ask VonAsten the question. Not only do you feel lucky, but do you have it in you to beat him? Dan, what's happened so far today?
Well, I think, to be honest, VonAsten might be a little bit disappointed with some of the chances he's missed in this game to take down Noggano. To beat 2-0 in this best of 5 right now, it's a very, very difficult situation for him. He has to be composed in a way that Noggano has been composed in the face of everything VonAsten threw at him in Game 2. Noggano is just looking really fierce, not spotting many mistakes from Noggano. It's going to take a perfect game from VonAsten to topple him, but not just one game. It's going to take 3 games. Oh. And in the last game, we just saw, I think, VonAsten getting a little bit cocky when he did have the lead and trying to go for the double lukes, but didn't pay off. So.
Well, it made sense at that point in time. It just, Noggano outplayed him and countered him. It was a mine, or a satellite AT gun shot, as Ed 80 Hertz put it. No. But that mine was lucky, in fairness. It was well placed, but there's an element of luck to mines, and the fact that the Lukes went down to it just probably sent VonAsten into a momentary spiral of depression, and he got outplayed ever since that point in the game. And then, of course, a shocking end to the game with the shock troops taking out the Schwerpanzer headquarters. Let's keep on the meta and the micro of this one, though. Kubelvog and Ace doing a good job controlling the situation. Rear echelons seek refuge behind a tractor. Riflemen, meanwhile, push up the east side. This is Crossroads, which for many people's money is the most balanced 1v1 map in Company Heroes, so we value it dearly.
Yeah, it's a beautiful map. Produces some of the best games we ever get to see. Just want to point out, VonAsten has dived in with the commander pick. Just speaking to Ed, it's such a common thing now to go straight into the game with the commander pick. There is no room for error. I think it's mainly because OKW, they want that snare.
Well, you say
so
that.
Scared
I
of
think
the
Tiger
game.
Also. Nearly every OKW player I've seen go for the Tiger. It's kind of taken the mantle that the Command Panther used to have. I mean, every elite level 1v1 game, we used to see the Command Panther as OKW. Now it's this Grand Offensive Tiger. But you have to play really carefully with it. You can't just go gung-ho. You have to kind of control the battle if it's an even battle, that is. I mean, as we saw in Game 1, he was in a place where he could just go gung-ho. Meanwhile, Kubelvog and Ace getting its first of many kills. And the Schwerpanzer Schlepper half-track, if you remember back in 2014, these were faster, they could crush men and walls. It was a beautiful time. That month of when OKW got released, I actually won many games just sending the first truck in. But albeit we're now in a much more balanced game state where it's actually worth playing as a competitive title, which is exciting. So, you know.
Look at this from Noggano. This is actually such a clever decap, because when you look at the map, it's just perfect to separate the right-hand side. And look at the full retreat that's coming back.
So Rifleman pushed away, decap taken. This Rifleman's coming to mitigate. Kubelvog and gets straight out of there. That was a lovely little detour there. Just going for we might get taken out now. We put a lot of emotional attachment to this little military VW Beetle.
Sorry, though, I called that as Noggano. It was VonAsten. He's played really, really good map strategy in all of the games. I think the main problem is he's just not managed to keep on top of it, and he's paid no attention to the VPs.
His main problem now is even if he does something well, the casters are giving credit to his opponent because it's all been one way in this series so far. So it's natural for us to say Noggano's doing an amazing thing here. He's put the mechanized regimental headquarters down. Lieutenant's doing a little bit of a flanking maneuver there to spoil the cover party that the Focus Grenadiers were enjoying, forcing them away. But it's a fairly equal and equitable battle so far. The cutoff was only taken for a small time.
Noggano, of course, returning the field as quick as possible with the decap of his own. He's gone for heavy cavalry company, and that's got some great late game potential.
Yes, it has. Of course it has. You can get coordinated abilities and off-map smoke and field defensive for your riflemen. Nothing about the Pershing was mentioned in this this cast. Because, you know, they tried to kill the call-in meta, but it's just too strong. Ooh, Kubl's haunting the Lieutenant there, forcing him behind the cemetery gates, which is a bit of a Smith song, and starting there.
Nice to see Kubel. I hope he keeps this Kubel alive. The Veteran C1 ability that's unlocked of detection is very, very good for anticipating where the flanks are coming from. It's going to be a really useful unit.
Oh, Lieutenant's not going to be a useful unit for much longer if these Volks Grenadiers continue. Oh, negative cover. He makes it past that. He makes it past the bush. He's just getting out of range now. One more shot after the reload. Oh!
VonAsten just hasn't had that kind of luck today.
He has not.
It's not the first time that's happened.
It's very unfortunate that sometimes all of your the units in your squad reload at exactly the same time. 5 shots fired. Oh dear. Oh, machine guns firing. Both had the MG34 noise, but of course the one on the Kubel isn't a real MG34, it's a Kubelwagen one, which is entirely different. Sturmgewehrs push forward. They're just a little bit trepidatious right now. They can see that the riflemen are focusing the Kubel, so VonAsten uses it to his advantage. He's a master of small engagements like this. This is VonAsten at his peak, Dan. He saw the riflemen were targeting the Kubel. He closed the distance. Perfect play.
He also managed to get it during a reload time, which obviously allowed him a couple extra seconds to get in without taking damage. So really, really nice there. We're just kind of starting to watch the Volks Grenadiers encircle units in the center of the map. And, of course, any squad wipes here would be so favorable for VonAsten.
Riflemen pushed away. We've got a lot of little skirmishes developing all throughout the battle at the moment. But the first light tank to hit the field will be the Lukes. Noggano has delayed himself by getting a 50 cal, I guess, so the manpower is having to reload before he can get a Stuart. Mine goes off there, kills 2 Volks Grenadiers. 50 cal watches on and suppresses them even more.
Important to note as well, the riflemen are able to lay mines down with the help of the commander there.
Certainly our Lieutenant's been putting a bit of SMG and rifle fire down on this garrisoned Volks Grenadier. Nice, flanked by the Kubel, taking advantage of the suppressed MG.
Kubel's going for the resource points. And Kubel's been really annoying, actually, which I really like to see. Just kind of driving around units, pulling the focus a little bit. And I think it's throwing that curveball to Noggano. Not sure what this 50 cal is doing.
The machine gun is really not needing the support units right now. I'll see you later, guys. I'm going to take the machine gun back to base if that's okay.
The funny thing is, even with the squad there, the range is from...
Oh, they're a little bit bugged out. They're very much forward units. See the range? I want to... Well, there's other units there, but it would have been cool to see if they were spotting for it in advance. That would have been cool. You can do little things like that in the game. Famously in Heroes 1, there was cap walking, where you could like take one model from the squad and go to another point. And there's still stuff like that you can find out in Covenant Heroes 2.
I've seen many a fine multi-cap with one squad using that skill. We'll call it a skill.
It is a skill. This game is an eccentric old beast with plenty of quirks to be explored. It's not just a very well-designed RTS game. It's got a lot of eccentricities that are exciting, and we like it for it.
Let's have a little look at the teching at the moment. Noggano is about to bring out his Stuart. VonAsten, I think, is prepared for this. He's got the Raketten out. The Lukes is there. So, actually made a much better game for VonAsten at the start. He's still harassing with the Kubel, preventing the riflemen there from building their defenses.
Yes.
Very, very useful.
Very useful. And the rear echelons, by the way, just got the bazooka. I was going to say that VonAsten's in a perfect position to counter the Stuart now, but the fact that the rear echelons have the bazookas kind of equal things up. It's an even playing field out there on Crossroads, and we'll have to wait to see which way it swings. Oh, nice! Polish hammer here, I'll call it. Almost a blob on retreat, but not quite. They couldn't converge in time.
It's so disappointing, actually, I think, for VonAsten. I don't think a model is going to drop here.
Oh.
And, to pull 3 squads over to that side of the map and not get the model drop. There's the nice AT grenade! Beautiful.
No! You were such an MVP unit. We had such an emotional attachment to you, and now we'll forget you just as quickly as you were built.
Shame. And, of course, the detection ability is gone now for VonAsten. And whether or not he was using that on the Kubel, the opportunity to spot through the fog of war.
Stuart's going in. Bazookas fire. They do miss, however. Ricketten was waiting. This is going to give the Stuart reason to shut up. Misses again, of course. Well, this time targeting the Ricketten. Oh, he anticipated the path. Still gets a rear armor shot in. And thinks better of it. So no damage done to either player there. Funny old battle.
This is dangerous. This is dangerous. The Stuart, I don't think Noggano clocked onto that in time. The Echelons aren't really bothered. But,
there's only one rifleman in that squad. The M1 carbine, so I really don't think he could have got it. But the possibility was there. I would have gone for that if I'd seen it. I know that for certain.
Never underestimate the random bazooka.
I think it's almost impossible to kill somebody with a bazooka in this game. They made the profile so tight it can only hit large target sizes, but I think it still is possible. And if you've got a dream, RN Jesus can come to your rescue.
VonAsten here. We can already see 10 minutes into the game. Normally we're talking about how VonAsten's scraping 250 VPs. This time around, he is still above 400. He's showing signs of strength, which is really encouraging given the position that he's in this series. The army is actually quite good. 2 MG34s, the Panzer Dukes. And I actually don't mind this at all. There's a lot of mines on the right-hand side. You can see Noggano's been busy.
With bits of his body.
He's sweeping them, you could say that.
They're not there anymore. Good job, VonAsten. Why don't you be positive about VonAsten, Dan? He just cleared 2 mines.
Well, I'll hand that to him.
Well done.
Of course, this is a really good thing. We spoke actually when I was casting with Ed in the last game about how the mines, just knowing that mines have been planted, seeing the minesweepers there, you know you can't push the field with the light vehicles without the Stern Pioneers. And just, you know, the fact that that's happened, I think going in with a mobile light vehicle army, it's got to be scary for VonAsten. It's a fragile build that could go down very quickly.
Both players, I suppose. That's the kind of Western Front Army's meta, both the glass cannon factions.
That is a huge hit from the Ricketten.
What a nice hit, and he's actually stuck on the trees. Will the attack grounding through the bushes? Maybe not. Hoover comes in, hits a... it's a...
Does he want to dive?
He's thinking of it.
He's testing it.
Oh, but here come the anti-tank rifle grenades of the riflemen and force him away. Rear echelon will tack round through the smoke with those bazookas.
Why would you stop there?
Oh, what's he doing?
Oh no!
Main gun destroyed. He's leaving himself really vulnerable here. Oh,
well,
that mine,
fortunately.
Oh.
Not sure what that was about. And again, going for light vehicles here against an army like this, they can run up the field, they can fire the bazookas. You've got to keep moving. VonAsten's entry with the Puma was poor.
He may have had other things to micro on the rest of the map. As, of course, as casters, we cast the main engagement for you. There are sometimes peripheral ones. Nice Faust here. Oh, just a damaged engine and a slither of health. Meanwhile, Vet 2 MG34 dies. Machine and Gewehr going into US hands.
Yeah, we saw this actually near in every single game. After a great push, Noggano just has complete control still. He's going to run away with some of VonAsten's decrewed units.
Luke saves the day, it seems. What's happening really deep into the map there? We know the MG dies, but the Stuart also dies thanks to a James Bond Rakettenwerfer going so deep into things. Well played by VonAsten. He may lose the MG34. No, he can't chance it. He loses a squad! Noggano, what are you thinking?
And he's going to lose the MG squad as well. As it tries to set up, VonAsten gets away with the Ricketten. I'm really surprised that VonAsten has come out on top.
Oh. But he's kept his psychology good, and that's the whole thing about high-level coming heroes. You just have to play your best and hope that luck falls in your enemy's regard after a while. You have to keep doing the best things you can in the right order, in the right way.
This is nice.
It is nice.
This is nice. Ground attacking.
Come on.
Through the fog of war. You can see he doesn't actually have the line of sight. He's trying to take the building down to get rid of the 50 cal there.
So, of course, as casters, Dan and I are now slightly favouring VonAsten because nobody wants to see a 3-0, surely. You don't want to see an ultra stomp. Only sadist amongst us would want to see that.
Yeah, it's you really want those kind of stories. VonAsten is a fantastic player. He has just got better and better over every tournament, and he's deserving. I actually think he's very deserving through the the way that he's just performed, the way that he's trained. He's brought a lot of new play styles to the game.
He has. A lot of his infantry micro has been absolutely inspired. He's one of those players that took heed of a lot of other players entering the scene and studied their styles as well. Schwerpanzer setting up now. It's soon to requisition its Panzer authorization. Nice little tactical blobble group of infantry and machine guns being met by Noggano in force.
This is looking much better. Much better. Actually, VonAsten there putting some green cover outside of Noggano's base. That, at least, I think is just going to stall some time.
Yep.
VonAsten's got a great resource lead, and all he's got to do is just sit on that for a little bit, bring out the kind of late-game heavy vehicles he's going to want to use to push through Noggano's USF defenses. In a great position, really.
Going for a little bit of a marauding action there. 50 cal pushing out west. Lieutenant found out, hiding in the bushes. What were you doing in there?
Nasty surprise with the Volksgrenadiers and Stern Pioneers come around. You can see VonAsten now, he's gone in with the Stern Pioneers. He is scouting for more mines. Needs to know if Noggano has planted more mines.
Tell you what, this Puma might go for an ambulance kill. No, he's worried about mines and he has every right to be. And there's the trap laid. Bazooka's hit. Smoke has popped. They can attack ground. Will they get it? No, they're suppressed.
Tried to hop into the building. I think he had a chance there. He has a chance. It was narrowly missed.
That was excellent.
And it was excellent for VonAsten to actually go behind the building just to make sure that he could get that blocker on the corner.
Volksgrenadiers survived. The map is now a Pokeball formation. North is red and south is blue. And there's nothing left to do except to fight, as we see it there unfold for you. And Crossroads is one of those maps that has 2 extra territory points, so the resources income is high. So if you suffer some losses, as long as they're not too large, you can mount great comebacks, and the map does favour that.
This is nice. I really feel that when VonAsten can survive that early game, when he can get his units upgraded with the tools he wants, he can be a very, very efficient player. Just got him with the Obersoldaten, and immediately going to go with the MG34 upgrade. So actually suddenly all this infantry on the field from Noggano is going to start to sweat.
Oh, I tell you, that Lux is coming in for this rifleman. Noggano's having a bit of a dodgy spell in this game, and he loses yet another squad.
I was lucky. I didn't think that model would go down. Thought maybe it would have a chance of getting away in time.
Rear echelon. They should be fine. If you look at the health on the 2 soldiers in the squad, they're fine. It's all that, carrying large anti-tank weapons around and sprinting. It makes you much more beefy.
Really, just looking at this, just building that cover position there, sitting there, it's taken up so much of Noggano's time just to get that territory back outside of his base. We're still looking at. Actually, it looks like the resources have started to even out again, so no more of that huge advantage.
A major development in the centre here. There's a suppression to this senior officer squad. Trying to outflank us was the call from the Vidgal. You don't say. There's a huge 10-ton armoured car is sitting by your elbow. They're trying to outflank us. You really? VonAsten's coming again, you can see, because his minesweeper is leading the way. Meanwhile, Luke's in the west deals with the lieutenant, causing it some issues. Red activity in the east as the machine gun takes the fuel point. So VonAsten's really starting to take hold. You can see that familiar frontal sloped armour portrait in the top left of your picture is on its way. The Sherman is building for Noggano.
Sherman is Sherman's not a bad choice here, actually.
He needs it.
I can't say that it's going to be good enough.
With the double bazooka squads, it could help, especially if those squads start to get to that. They've got the 5th man now on one of the squads, and they'll nearly get to Veterancy 3. So 2 5-man bazooka squads down is really helpful with the Sherman. You can take out a Panzer IV with that. Oh, he destroys his own cover. Great move by Noggano there. Sherman, ooh, nice big shot coming on the Stern Pioneers. Needs to be careful. Turrets facing the wrong way. There he is. Misses. after all that. Boomer and Rakettenwerfer waiting, and Panzerfaust penetrating.
Oh, nice. That's a good Faust. That's a really good Faust. Do we have enough there to push that? The Puma not fearing anything because of the Major and Lieutenant is actually going to try and go in.
Oh, he gets a good shot. But the bazookas are waiting. This could be a bit of an Admiral Akbar trap.
Oh, I think this is a bad decision.
VonAsten, he pops smoke. He gets the shot, though. He hasn't finished it. Main gun destroyed. Oh, that was too bold, too risky. And he paid the price.
You know, I think that's a really cool thing to do and not a bad decision to make. But when you're 2-0 down in a best-of-5 series, that's...
If you look at the risk profiles of players that have won major tournaments in the past few years, you're talking about Talisman and Love Nest. These guys make risks, but they don't go crazy. So it's the same profile as a great poker player, by the way. You need to know when to take a risk, but you need to know when to hold back as well and keep your cards close to your chest. In this case, in my opinion, VonAsten's decision-making was not what he needed it to be.
Sprint from the Lieutenant here. Going to try and get around the back of the MG34 for OKW. That might allow the Major to get into cap. Good grenade there. And takes down 3 models. Then as a retreat through some negative cover.
Oh, but they can't hit a barn door with a cannonball. Neither can the Sherman, seemingly.
Not too far off a Tiger now. I'm pretty sure that's what VonAsten is going for here.
It is the OKW meta, seemingly, at the moment. But the Tiger isn't like an answer-all to every question and problem. You do have to babysit it, especially when it's at Veterancy 0.
It's a real pleasure to watch Noggano play, because even when he's been a bit on the back foot, the way that he handles everything, you know, in the face of bad RNG, in the face of, like, you know, having been pushed back to his base for a considerable period of time, he just makes sensible decisions over and over and over again. They stack. They're stacking into a good situation for him. The question right now, I think, if VonAsten can just keep hold of his army, wait for that Tiger to come out, I think he's got a very, very good chance of you know, pushing right through to the base and hopefully winning.
Nagano outlast people from South Crossroads though. What's that Rakettenwerfer for shooting out? How's the Sherman looking down? Oh, hits it again! Pushes it away. We've also had major artillery come down and force both units away. Meanwhile, in the west, Obersoldaten suffer a grenade. Nice tech from Noggano. Unexpected tech. Oh, but here it comes yet again. 64 tons of wheelie big tank. Sorry, I give too many hype intros for Tiger. Sometimes you have to catch them off guard, you know.
Sometimes just the silence is enough to hear the roar of the engine. Company Heroes 2, fantastic sound design, and you really, really hear it in these heavy vehicles.
Oh no, Tiger's gonna crush the rear echelon actually. They're forcing them away as bold as fly. Tiger, some great overshots there. Could be hitting anything, there's so much grouped units in the background. Lieutenants finds, there's another nice grenade. Almost finishes the job. Good pattern on retreat for VonAsten, a little spot of luck there. Major turns his attention to the approach grenadier. Is in the centre, you see the Tiger come into view. And what a sorry sight it is for Noggano now. He's horribly outmatched by this 64-ton behemoth. However, Brad Pitt's Sherman's waiting for him. Can he go for a little circle strafing action? Nope.
Yeah, but tough. Actually, man, this is a great position for VonAsten right now. We are so far away from the Pershing that Noggano may have to play the Jackson just to deal with this. I'm not sure that the bazookas are going to be enough. That being said, though,
look at that Rakettenwerfer positioning by VonAsten just at the edge of the bushes there. Should the Sherman fancy this, he's got another thing coming. Oh, here it is. Great positioning by VonAsten.
That's a really good hit from the Raketten.
Oh, he might finish it. Tiger's going blitzkrieg mode here. Well, not literally, but he might get it regardless. He has the fog of war on as true sight is enabled. He can see the target and he gets it.
Yeah, that was actually a really good play. The Tiger is overextended though. There isn't any support, and that's a bit worrying. So whilst he does get the advantage out of that engagement, gotta get that Tiger out of there.
What a beautiful Tiger play. And that's what I mean by babysitting it. You have to give it a support structure. You cannot send a Tiger in unsupported. But there you saw with the Rakettenwerfer helping his big buddy out, it allowed the Tiger to really live its best life. A little bit of on-battlefield repairs here from the Stern Pioneers, allowing that Vet 3 Lukes to keep the pressure on. Meanwhile, Vet's 3 5-man rear echelons flank north, looking for some tasty bazooka shots.
Noggano's being really smart here because he knows the Tiger's on the field, he knows like the dominant position. Tiger also needs repairing, which is currently being repaired by the upgrade on the mechanized regiment. But Noggano's gone for the VPs. He's got to make sure that he's got enough time to get the Pershing out. Or the Jackson.
Bundle nade attempt there from the Obers. They now have the MG34 on the retreat path of these riflemen. Will he make it around the Sherman?
Yeah, he's got it with the green cover of the carcass of his former colleague.
That sounds like a bit of an office time fantasy from Dan there. Well, there we go. We've got the Jackson building. Very good. That's the ultimate answer to the Tiger.
Yeah. Actually, I was thinking maybe it's going to be the Pershing because there's such an infantry presence, and now without the Sherman, really what's dealing with the Obersoldat and keeping them away. But the Jackson, I think, absolutely right here. Something is needed and needed to happen fast. They need to be able to give space for the infantry to capture territory.
It's a nice choice from VonAsten as well to get the second truck out, the
battle group.
Battle group, indeed. Just to give him that reinforcement capabilities under the welcoming turret of the flak headquarters.
I think, you know, whenever I look at this, I just think this might be VonAsten's downfall, is going in with the Tiger first. It's actually got very good range, provided you spot for it. It's quite a good, you know, long-range anti-infantry unit. But if he does decide to go in like this, he's going to be feeding the Jackson, which we see long-range anti-tank. And you do not want to be feeding this thing veterancy.
Also, it means your Stern Pioneers are constantly out of battle, which will leave you vulnerable to mines, because you're constantly going to have to repair the Tiger. Meanwhile, Panzer II Lutz rushes in.
That's a bad decision.
It is. It really, really is. He might get out of there, though. No, he doesn't. Those bazooka shots were on point.
Yeah, that was totally unnecessary. Badly managed, unfortunately. The Jackson, by the way, is nearly veterancy 1 already, because every single one of those penetrating shots gives veterancy. Is going to allow for a pretty beastly ability to be activated. The ability Noggano needs to get rid of the Tiger.
This, by the way, is the danger zone in any game. If you've been winning, if your endurance does not see you over that half-an-hour mark and into the 40-minute territory in the same position, you can end up losing the game, and everything you fought so hard to win can disappear before your very eyes. Tiger's fully repaired, back ready for battle. That's the Stern Pioneers for you. They do have excellent repair times.
I'm going to be very pleased with that. VonAsten sitting on 3 VPs at the moment, 0.75 VPs per second going down for Noggano now. So even though I think he's had a little bit of a win there, there's still pressure on him to play. We do see on the western side of the map there is lockdown with the MG34. You've got stealth Raketten in the east with a little bit of the Volksgrenadier supply, and of course that beastly Tiger in the center. Noggano's got to pick and choose, I think, where he's going to fight.
It's like an Argos catalogue of Verabooism. I really liked it. MG34, beastly Tiger, on page 22 of our catalogue. Only 7 installments of 5,000 Reichmarks.
Well, we just saw that engagement in the west.
In peril. Nice grenade toss, though. Stun grenade. Stern Pioneers push in. Obersoldat and watch on. You've got the MG34 in the background. That is a nope for Noggano. As he throws in the towel. And do you know what he's told himself now, Dan? I'm 2-0 up. I haven't had a great game. I'm going to get him in game 4. And that's what we're going to see next.
GG.
Angriffstruppe ist unterwegs. Ziel erkannt. Abrufzone markiert.
And we're back. Game 3. VonAsten has actually managed to start the comeback. He's got to win another 2 games in a row, but that looks more promising.
It really did. And all those questions we asked of him in that overly dramatic style.
Not personally, but, you know.
Well, not personally, obviously, but I think he felt the questions through the internet vibes, maybe, possibly. He answered them, and the answer was, yes, I am that person. I am going to try and make a comeback, and here we are, 2-1 in a best-of-5 series. Nagano still has the 1 game in hand, but anything can happen now. It's anybody's game to win.
Yeah, I think you're right to say that Noggano can kind of wash his hands of that and just be like, this isn't going my way. You know, we've had a great game 1 and 2, but you know, equally he's saving himself a little bit of stress because you know it's why fight? Why fight?
It's use an analogy from another sport. That's right. So for today only, this is a sport. Roger Federer actually does this in tennis sometimes in a best of 5. If he's having a really bad start to a set and he's already 2 up, he's like, okay, I'll start doing back of the head, behind the head shots, through the legs, you know. I'll start running up to you on your first serve and try and volley it. So, yeah, maybe we've seen Noggano be like the Roger Federer of Company of Heroes 2.
Well, he can be and deserves to be. But VonAsten, whilst we see that it is the 2-1 situation, VonAsten still made some mistakes. It was a much better game. Still making some mistakes there, I think. But he's starting to just compose himself a little bit better. When things don't go his way, he's recovered the situation well.
He did well.
Yeah, great dives.
Great dives indeed. That Kubelwagen started things off, and then he just continued the momentum throughout the battle. Let's do some plugs.
Sure.
Because we are on an official stream today, in an official capacity, for the wonderful Sega publishing arm of Dr. Robotnik's Empire, who have funded this lovely tournament for us, for their developer Relic, who've done a great job of making this game and running this tournament with me and you guys casting, and great refereeing team as well. Big shout out to all those guys, and fantastic playing community. Players.
It's important to note, I mean, it's been a small community that has grown. A lot of community people just put in a lot of effort in to grow the game, to get this kind of scene going where it's a developing esport. And the support from Relic, the support from Sega, the contribution, as you say, of everybody else is just huge. It's allowed us to do things like this, which is vastly important for the game. To further help everybody else, Relic are also doing a couple of things for you. If you don't have Company of Heroes, if you're here not knowing what game this is, what are these 2 people doing, what are they talking about, go onto Steam right now, go to find Company of Heroes 2, download it this weekend for free.